Hi everyone, my name is Steph, this is the Novelty Corner and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to recommend some romance books that feature reality TV shows in them. Now, full confession, I hate reality TV. I don't watch very much TV at all in general, but I absolutely cannot stand watching reality TV. I don't do it. But I seem to have discovered that I enjoy reading about it in romance books, possibly because we are limited with the number of people that we see, and so we get their perspective and not much of all of the drama, and we also don't get the dramatic editing and suspenseful music and things that just do my head in when I'm watching reality TV, so maybe that's why I like them. I'm going to be talking about 6 books. 4 of them do fit into 2 particular series. They're books that I really enjoy. There are also a couple of other reality TV / competition type books that I have read that are going to feature in a different video later down the track, so I didn't want to double up too much. This is just the first list. I'll probably find some more later on. So one series that you've probably seen me talk about recently is Jodi McAlister's series about a reality dating show called Marry Me Juliet. The first book is Here for the Right Reasons, and this is a romance about a contestant who is voted out on the first night of this dating show, who then falls for the hero of this dating show. And it happens because this does occur during Melbourne's lockdown, so if that is a thing, I would avoid this book, but it's more of a background thing. It's just the sort of the catalyst for everyone being stuck on set and not being able to leave. So you have Cece, who goes on this show basically just to earn some money because she's lost her job because of the lockdowns, and she needs that in order to survive, and she's very not suited to being on a reality TV show, which is why she's voted out on the first night. She does eventually become friends with Dylan, who is the Romeo on the show, and they use that friendship as a plot point within the show where he comes and debriefs after all of his dates with all of the other contestants, and slowly they begin to fall in love with one another, which obviously complicates the entire premise of the show. I loved the diverse cast in this one. I loved that Dylan is an Olympian, but he's trying to use this as a platform for creating awareness and raising money for the charity that he supports, and that this felt like a reality TV show but flipped from the other side because we are entirely in Cece's perspective. So she's not always on set. She only gets the stories of the show from Dylan and from whatever she's allowed to be part of. Very interesting concept. The second book in the series is called Can I Steal You for a Second? And it is basically a parallel story that's happening at the same time as Here for the Right Reasons. And this is 2 of the female contestants falling in love. They actually meet prior to the beginning of the show. They meet at sort of the casting session. And Mandy goes on the show because she's trying to get over a really bad breakup. She was not in a healthy relationship with her previous partner, and she's got something to prove. She wants to prove that she can move on and that she can do spontaneous things and she can be fun, and it would be nice if, if she won and if she fell in love with someone, but she's quite happy to just be involved in the experience. What she doesn't expect is to fall for Dylan G, who is one of the female contestants and kind of the front runner to win the show. And Dylan is a nurse and she's dealing with some guilt about not working during the pandemic, and also the relief of not doing that as well. So there's this really complex dynamic going on here. This had great bisexual rep. It, as I said, it does take place parallel to the first story, so we actually get to see what's happening on set this time from the perspective of 2 contestants, how they all relate to the other contestants as well, the different dates and the sort of the funny antics that go on, and how these 2 women try to hide their growing feelings for one another from the cameras. It was just such a good story. I really, really loved this one, and seeing this really great sapphic relationship on page. Then I want to recommend Rosaline Palmer Takes the Cake by Alexis. I've talked about this all the time. It's the first book in the Winner Bakes All series. This is kind of like a Great British Bake Off type reality TV show that Rosaline, who is a single mother, goes on and ends up caught in this sort of love triangle between 2 men. This also has on-page bisexual representation with Rosaline. This does lead to some conflict with one of the love interests using that against her in a really negative way in one particular scene, so be aware of that. But she's a very strong character. She is able to stand up for herself. And this also has a really awesome female friendship in here, so if you haven't read it, it's a great one to start with for Alexis Hall, I think, from his traditionally published work. But yes, this book holds a special place in my heart. Also, lots of delicious baking going on here, so possibly have treats on hand while you're reading. The second book in the series is Paris Daillencourt is About to Crumble. I loved this one, but it's also one that I will always caution people about, because this sent me into my own anxiety spiral, because this deals very, very heavily with anxiety and panic attacks, and it is such a real representation, which is what caused me to have my own. Paris is going on the new season of Winner Bakes All, but he is so anxious, and his entire life he's just believed that everyone's just placating him by telling him he's doing good things and that he has to get better and better. And of course, going on to a show like this where it's a competition just heightens that sense. And he begins to fall for someone else on the show called Tariq, but of course his anxiety and the way that he behaves means that Paris is very focused on himself, and this causes immense friction in their relationship because he can't see past what he's feeling in the moment. And so he says and does things that he doesn't mean, but he also does in a way. What I really loved about this book in particular though was the discussions around mental health, around seeking help, around having to make amends with people who have been hurt by your actions and your decisions. And it was a fantastic book. Just be very cautious if your mental health is not great at the time of reading this book. There's also Love and Other Disasters by Anita Kelly, which I don't own a physical copy of and I desperately need to get my hands on one. This is another reality TV cooking show, and you have Landon and Daria, and Landon is there, and Landon uses they them pronouns and announces that on the show, which causes some friction between some of the contestants. Daria and Landon make this connection. Dalia is there to reinvent herself, and they have so much fun, and they get up to so many different things together, including my favorite scene in the book, which is when they crash a wedding that they're not invited to. And it's just such a joyful little moment within the book. What's not to love about that? There's also lots of things in here as they deal with transphobia and anxiety and uncertainty about their future, but it was just beautiful and gorgeous to read. And I never felt pressure while reading it that, sometimes how when you read a book and you're worried that everything is going to go wrong. Like, I didn't feel that with this book, and all I have is warm fuzzy memories of it. But of course, it is a cooking book, so bring snacks. But Anita Kelly just does the most amazing things with their books, and I'm just so looking forward to reading more of them. And then finally, I want to mention Take the Lead by Alexis, which was one of the very first romance reality TV show books that I ever read. This is about a dancing show, and the hero is an Alaskan reality TV show person who, I think his family has this home renovation type show, and he ends up being partnered with a Puerto Rican dance partner on Dance Off, and the two just hit it off, and there is chemistry and sparks fly everywhere. The whole thing was just fantastic. And I think this was my first Alexis book, and it was just what I wanted at the time. It is being re-released this year with a new cover, and I'm so excited because I want to get a copy of this one. It kind of has a special place in my heart for being the first Alexis book that I ever read, and it is so worth reading, particularly if you like dancing shows. All right, so those are my reality TV romance recommendations. In the comments, I would love to know what you recommend. I do still have more that I want to pick up, so hopefully there will be a part 2 of this in the future. But yes, I'm always open for more suggestions because I'm finding I'm enjoying this, even if I won't actually physically watch it on TV. If you want to let me know that you're here but you don't want to leave a comment, feel free to leave any kind of cake emoji down below. Otherwise, I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone.